Hello, I'm Daniel Bloodworth. We are Easy Allies, and this is the Easy Allies podcast. This week I've got Michael Huber.
Is this going to be a stand-up fight, sir, or another bug hunt?
Michael Damiani, remoting in.
Oh, man. Alien, Romulus, it's time,
Tonight.
right?
IMAX.
Tonight? Are you going to see it tonight, Huber,
IMAX,
or are you
baby.
waiting?
Yep, day
Oh,
one.
is that out?
Day one. I don't
Tonight,
fuck around with
yeah.
aliens. Yep.
Because you usually wait
Yep.
till like
Can't
after
wait.
the weekend, so
Can't
you
wait.
can't wait for this one. That's
Can't
pretty
do
good to
it.
hear.
Can't do it.
That's good excitement. I
Huber,
like that.
that's wild because I feel like I just started hearing about this.
Well, because the Rotten Tomato score comes out, so then everyone's like, "Ooh, Rotten Tomatoes."
Sure, but I feel like there have been so many movies like in the past couple of years where like I hear everyone's talking about it, and then I find out it's like, oh, that movie's not out for 6 weeks. Why is everyone talking about it?
Yeah.
And in the control room, making it all happen, we got Don Casanova.
I want to know about these alien acid churros. If anyone in chat has tried
Right.
these things yet, what's the deal?
And watching over us, sending the tweets, we got Gabby.
Hi.
We wanted to make sure you heard her this time.
Yeah.
For our
Get her on
precious
there.
audio listeners. Yes.
Not just an awkward silence for the listeners. She usually gives a little wave, just for context. Friends, we're here to talk about what's new, what's news, and what we've been playing. This week, Tango is back. Good stuff. We'll get into it.
It's so weird when you have good news, Blood.
Yeah. We got that Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Huber's played a little bit of that, start of that game. Damiani has played a bit of the Persona 3 DLC episode. So we'll get him in on that, as well as Huber's been waiting to talk about his time with the base game. So
much.
yeah.
Love that game.
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry, I'm retweeting here.
We got a trailer for a game that I didn't know existed that just lit everybody up. Bakeru. We're gonna check out that trailer, and Don's gonna to share his initial thoughts on his reactions and all that.
Extremely pumped.
Yeah. Huber checked out that new update for Witchfire,
Yes.
which we haven't even really talked about before. I think it's like the first time we've really gotten anyone to dig into that. So
Yeah. A lot of new stuff today.
yeah.
a good
And
day.
then Dustborn as well, which
Dustborn.
you've been championing for like the last year.
Yes.
So, and some interesting new Halloween and Evil Dead games, which are the start of like some other big thing. We'll get there. We'll get there. But like Huber said, we needed good news on this podcast, and now we've really got it.
We've got it.
Tango Gameworks is back.
Thank God.
Early Monday morning, Krafton, the publisher behind PUBG and the Callisto Protocol, announced that they have worked out a deal to keep Tango going. They've acquired that Hi-Fi Rush IP from Microsoft.
It's good IP.
John Johannes tweeted, "And this is how it continues.
My man.
We're back, baby."
Hell yeah. My man.
And yeah, it sounds like they're going to try to get as much of the team back as possible.
Great. I mean, he's there running the show, it looks like, so that's a great sign.
I mean, I would assume, and it's just all it is an assumption. I'm assume that he's the one that was making those phone calls.
Hell yeah.
You know, it's like who is on board, who's gonna keep this team together.
So cool.
From the press release, quote, "As part of the strategic agreement, Krafton intends to collaborate with Xbox and ZeniMax to ensure a smooth transition and maintain continuity at Tango Gameworks, allowing the talented team to continue developing the Hi-Fi Rush IP and explore future projects. Krafton intends to support the Tango Gameworks team to continue its commitment to innovation and delivering fresh and exciting experiences for fans. There will be no impact on the existing game catalog of The Evil Within, The Evil Within 2, Ghostwire Tokyo, and the original Hi-Fi Rush
They said
game."
Evil Within.
They did. But I mean, I think
Just anytime that those words are uttered, Blood, it's a good day.
yeah. I think those things are still under the Bethesda umbrella.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Who knows?
Could be a future
Yeah.
where it's like, hey, Microsoft is like, hey, we want a new one of these.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, they pitch them. It's like, hey, we'll work together
Yeah.
to do that. Because they're doing something like that with the Toys for Bob, right? That went independent after the Activision merger. And they're still working on a game with Microsoft.
Got it. Was it like they were already making it though, and then that happened, or?
I don't think it was that far along if they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing but good news because it's like we're playing with house money. You know, they were done.
Right.
So we have nothing to lose because we already lost it. So I only see this as a win. Seeing the, words of encouragement from Johannes is really nice. And yeah, Hi-Fi Rush, like that game is so awesome. It has like, it was devastating when Tango got shut down because everyone was like, well, they just released like this awesome new IP, which does not happen like frequently. It's we live in a franchise world. So to get just this incredible new IP and then have them shut down was such a devastating thing. But now there's life, so that's good.
Yeah, and they definitely threw all of their awards and stuff in there when they put out that announcement. And it was funny because they like a couple hours later, then they like updated the announcement. It's like, oh, here's all our recent financial reports as well, so you understand like how well we're doing right now with how PUBG's doing and stuff. You have any thoughts, Damiani?
Yeah, I mean, this is just great to hear. I wish this could happen more often.
Yeah.
Even if it's not this, like, obviously we'd love the studios to keep going as is and be able to be like maybe just purchased, whole style from a company, but just being able to acquire the IP and then bringing on key figures who then want to try and get back the team. I mean, that's like the next best thing. So I wish this could happen more with all the shuttering we saw from Embracer Group, and now with Microsoft. It's just so many different studios out there had so much talented people. It feels like I wish this could have been happening more often.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, and it's good to see this because maybe it'll help kickstart some other people looking like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Or maybe they're
Should
morally
somebody
like
buy Deus Ex for a couple $1 million here? Let's
like
go.
If they're feeling morally deflated or something, they see this as a positive. Like even we've been joking, like, oh, good news, finally. It's like, yeah, someone has to start somewhere. So I mean, this is the only good thing, and hopefully we see that series continue and thrive for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if nothing else, we are getting this next game for sure.
Yeah,
That's what this
Hi-Fi
deal is
Rush
all
2
about.
incoming.
Hi-Fi Rush 2 is in production.
Yeah.
Definitely curious about what other things they might do after that or alongside of that for sure.
So cool.
The one little gray lining
Here we go.
is the skepticism.
Economic headwinds.
No.
Okay.
But recently there was just like an interview with Glenn Schofield talking about things that went on with Callisto Protocol and Krafton basically pushing them to get that game out
So
the door
they-
earlier than they wanted.
So Crafton got thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
before
shit.
the Hi-Fi Rush announcement.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
So
Okay.
and he was saying that like they had to cut like enemies and gameplay and stuff.
Yeah, that game needed another year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about another
Maybe not
year,
a year,
but more. They needed a few more months for
They
sure.
needed some more time, for
And
sure.
then that paired with them having to go up head to head with Dead Space remake, which was
Yeah.
just the weirdest freaking timing.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping.
Dude, I love Callisto Protocol. Whatever.
I'm hoping that somebody at Krafton learned from that. There's like, okay, we tried to rush this, and then in the end, we lost money because the audience just didn't receive it as well as it could have been, you know. And so hopefully they've learned from that. They'll let these guys cook.
Yeah.
They will give them the appropriate amount of resources and budget up front, and so that everyone knows and they're on the same page.
Yeah.
And the good thing about them trying to keep as much of Tango together is that they already know each other. They know how to work with each other. Striking Distance was a brand new studio. They're
right.
putting together their first game together, so
That's right.
very different dynamic.
Totally.
So
Yeah, and like Hi-Fi Rush is already established, so you can kind of just like carry the momentum on in. Obviously they all got axed there, a little false start, but now they're back. Hopefully they just like land that plane again and start going.
yeah, there's a lot of logistics behind the scenes that I wonder
Yeah.
about with like, okay, what about the rent and like all the like actual physical stuff that was happening like during that limbo and everything,
Yeah.
where they had to, probably pack up that office and now build everything out of boxes. Like, yeah, it's interesting, but it's good news.
Yeah, totally.
Huber,
Yo.
you got to check out this Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster.
Yo.
That kind of just came out of nowhere just a few weeks ago. And now we got some preview code for it.
Yeah.
How is it? What is it? What are your thoughts? Where is this? All over the place. I'm wondering.
This is one of my favorite the original. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite video games of all time. I've said that a million times. I've streamed this game so many times over the years. I've always loved the first one the most. By far. I like number 2 a lot, but Dead Rising 1 has a vibe. I loved the way it looked. You know, the original had kind of this like cartoony, cel shady kind of look, and then 2 is a little more realistic, and then 3 and obviously 4.
Yeah.
I love the way the remake looks. I think they did such a cool job of having the RE engine, but then also retaining kind of like the little bit of cartoony with the first one.
Right.
If you're seeing this footage now, I'm very disappointed. Well, obviously with my ability, I can't land this. The controls, we'll get into it, a little weird. That's my favorite weapon. The potted plant right there,
Okay.
not as
Yeah.
good. Downgrade.
Downgraded on a potted plant.
Downgrade.
They saw the meta, Huber.
Yeah.
They're messing with the meta.
Well, just like the audio visual. Again, when I've streamed it so many times, every time on stream, whenever I've streamed Dead Rising, I'm like, chat, everyone, like, watch this potted plant.
Oh, the
attack.
impact of it's
The
a downgrade,
impact,
not
yeah.
the
Okay.
actual dance.
No,
Oh,
yeah, like the
okay,
impact,
okay.
the dirt going everywhere, like the
That's
original.
not what you want to hear in a
I know.
remaster.
I know.
About a remaster. What?
I know.
Capcom's got time.
Uh-oh.
Capcom.
It's
Yeah, they
okay.
can fix
Fix that,
this. It's
fix that
fixable.
potted plant
Yeah.
animation.
And yeah, just some of like the controls were just a little tricky. Like the targeting, you know. This is a game I've beat like 10 plus times. So you know, I'm no slouch in Dead Rising, but it was a little tricky just with the like the meleeing. You know, I got the samurai sword pretty early. I definitely have a clip of that done. It'll be towards the end. But yeah, the samurai sword was just a little different. And yeah, just kind of some of the kills like felt a little. Okay, how do I explain it? It's like because of the visuals being so nice now, RE engine remake looking legit,
Yeah.
you expect maybe more gore or something. And it's just not there. So like the impact of the kills, I think, is a little lesser in this version than what I was originally anticipating and hoping for. It doesn't need to be, you know, RE2 wet gore insanity like bloodbath everywhere.
Right.
But because the original is such an old game now, like 2006, and just that,
Lawnmower is hilarious.
yeah, and just that cartoony nature of the original, I just feel the kills a little more in the original versus this.
Ooh.
So I will say that.
Okay.
So that's just a little bit of the criticism. That's all. This is still a great version of this game. They definitely have some quality of life stuff that is probably for the best, but I love challenging games, and I'm so passionate about all this shit, dude.
Right.
God damn. Okay.
Here we go.
The Dead Rising franchise is absolutely the victim of trying to appeal to too many people. This franchise went downhill because so many people complained about the time limit for missions and, you know, how tricky it was to like rescue survivors, and like that slowly eroded
Right.
away as this franchise went on. And so this one now has like those quality of life improvements that I'm not fully sold on yet. For example, one of them is weapon durability is now visual
Okay.
on your weapon. Weapons just seem to last longer even. You'll have like those little blue meter under your weapon, so you can just see how much is there. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but also, you know, when you're playing normally, like I love that survival horror element of Dead Rising. Let me be rewarded for knowing in my head how much I've used a weapon.
Right.
Let me track the durability. Like, don't hold my hand, Dead Rising.
Or even just the another side of that I could think of, and I don't know, like maybe it was just a hidden meter before, but with this kind of thing, like sort of the whole point of your weapon breaking is that like you're in this situation and you hit a guy and like,
Yeah.
oh crap, my
It
weapon
would
is
flash
gone.
red. It would flash
Right.
red in the
Okay.
original when it was like getting low.
Okay.
But even until then, it was like.
But
yeah.
then the fact that that you're not
Yeah.
sure when it's going to break,
Exactly.
and that if that could be even randomized at any point, that
Yeah.
could make it even more tense.
So yeah, just like some quality of life stuff that is cool, and I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate it. But as someone who's beaten this game 10 times and is obsessed with challenge and survival horror, I felt like it was just holding my hand a little bit much. And again, the weapons were lasting so long. Like this chainsaw in the original, dude, come on. I was just this is the first hour of the game. Like, let me. And the leveling up seemed faster. Just everything was like faster and easier and snappier. And I don't know. I think that's a disservice a little bit to Dead Rising because leveling up really, like, you start to become a murder machine later on. Like, finally, when you get like your weapons last longer, you can hold more weapons. Like, getting to that point is so rewarding. And within the first hour, I mean, I've already got like 7 weapons. I see the durability; they all last really long. So I was like, okay. Because then there's this game too. One of the earliest like new game pluses I was obsessed with. Carry over your level, carry over all your XP into the new one.
Yeah, and I think that goes with the timer, right? It's
exactly.
Like, it's like, okay, you've only got so much time to work with. And so, once you get done, you think about all the different ways that you could do something different. Or it's like, I didn't get over there, so let me try to do that on the next run or whatever. Yeah.
Can you turn off any of that stuff, Huber? Like is it an option maybe? Like the durability thing specifically? Did you
maybe I was looking around the options a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not sure. There was just one standard difficulty mode though.
Yeah, it is a
72-hour
preview
mode.
build, so it's a little. Some of those things are a little tricky to judge. But yeah.
I will say, and the voice acting is different. Mm-hmm. Different voice acting, which caught me off guard, kind of jarring a little bit. I love the original VO. Frank West was great. So I like to think of this as a remakester.
Right.
It's like a remake, but like kind of a remaster, but like a remake.
Well, that's why they even put like that term on it, right? Deluxe Remaster. Because we already remade this game before, so what do we call it?
Yeah. So one thing they've absolutely nailed flawlessly is the look of the mall. Mm-hmm. It is beautiful. It is glorious. It is an upgrade on the original in my mind. Just walking through the buildings, like each shop, it just looks like you remember it, but way better. It looked so good. And then just quality of life stuff too with, this is what I actually really like this one. The quality of life with the survivors. I think I like this one. You can see their affinity level when they're like following you. So you can see kind of what items will help them. It'll be like, oh, this person wants a baseball bat, and then you can give them a baseball bat, and they'll be more proficient when they're following you. So I really liked that because definitely one of the criticisms of the original is trying to get these people back to the safe house. They were so dumb. It was rough. So that is an absolute.
It's really funny to me that you just like you just beat this guy with a sword and then walk up and have a conversation.
Totally. Oh, Dead Rising's the best. It's so good. So yeah, just my criticisms from someone who is like ridiculously attached to this game. Like this, I can't even express how much this game means to me and like how big of an impact it had when it came out. This thing came out less than a year into Xbox 360's life cycle. It was one of the first, like, obviously like Gears of War and stuff, but like this again.
Before Gears.
Yeah, this is in the category of like, holy frick, HD video games. Like a game can look this good.
Yeah.
Like Dead Rising 1 made me go out and get an Xbox 360. It was a system seller. Like I had never had an original Xbox.
Well, it was just like the number of zombies, like you're saying, all the stuff that you could pick up in the mall, just the amount of items.
Yeah.
Which, to me kind of like, it's kind of like when you first like had Shenmue, right? It's like all of this stuff you can just like pick up and mess around with and like,
another really good quality of life thing as well is the attire. that you can wear. And just the way the menus and stuff, the way it keeps track of everything, I think is just an absolute improvement. Keeps track of all the survivors. That was there too, but it's just laid out a little better. And you can, if you just pick up a costume once, it'll go to your like locker instead of having to go back to the shop to put it on.
Okay.
It's like you basically collect it, and then it's like, okay, all the attire is, in your locker. It's very cleanly laid
Got
out.
it.
You can see it. So yeah, some quality of life stuff.
And I
there.
saw they added skins for the other Dead Rising characters.
And Leon's RPD outfit. You can be a licker, Damiani. You can walk around as a freaking licker. So yeah, pander more, please. Thanks, Capcom. So yeah, if you're obsessed with Dead Rising 1, this game is a no.
Or if you missed it.
This is a no-brainer. Yeah. No, this is one of the best games ever made. I'm a little torn. I need some more time. It's, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of The Last of Us Part 1 remake. Where it's like, maybe I kind of prefer the remaster more than the original just because I have an affinity towards it. That it just like, there's just something like I can't even describe about just like the attachment.
Oh, you mean the original more than the remaster?
I like the Last of Us Remastered more than Last of Us Part 1, the remake.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what you mean.
Yeah,
Okay.
the original remaster,
So, like,
I
you're saying-
bump them together. It's same shit.
Right.
Same shit.
But you're saying that Dead Rising HD you might prefer over Deluxe Remake.
Yeah. Kinda
Right
like
now,
right
first
now.
impressions.
Yeah, just right out of the gate. And I think a lot of it was just kind of the voice acting was different, so it was a little jarring, and then mainly just the weapon like impact didn't hit as hard as I was hoping it to from an RE engine game, Like I think I wanted even a little more over the top,
Yeah.
but it just felt a little tame.
Where do you want them to go with this? Because like we said, they've kind of redone this one a couple of times now.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they've done much of anything with the sequels.
I know.
But would you want them to revisit the sequels, or would you want them to just move on and
It's
do
a great
something
question.
new?
It's an absolutely great question, Blood, because 2 is absolutely excellent. 3 is really cool too. The only one I don't really care for is 4, and it's not a bad game by any means. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe like a remake of 2, I think is definitely in the cards, depending on how this one does. But yeah, I don't know if you reboot this thing. Because, like, obviously with 4, Frank came back. Frank, there's like an ongoing narrative, kind of, but it hasn't really been the best part of the series.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know, Blood. I mean, maybe it's time for a Dead Rising 0. You do a little prequel, because there is stuff that goes on,
Right.
behind the scenes before the events of the first game, and I think that'd be pretty neat.
So it's 4 the Christmas one then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 3 was the crazy gritty one.
3 was like LA style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mechanic. It's a good game. Yeah. But I like, diminishing returns. That
Right.
The order of their release is like the order of how I like them. I like 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. So we will see. Yeah. And this comes out next month now, September. So, maybe put it on the back burner until October. Like I'm gonna be going through this thing in October for sure. What a gift.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite games ever made. I love this game so much. Oh. Like when I was playing it as a preview, I'm just like, I wish this was just out right now. Like I would just boot this up. Like, oh, let's go. So
Nice.
yeah.
Damiani, you got an early look at this Persona 3 DLC.
Yeah.
Persona 3 Reload Episode Aegis The Answer.
Whoa.
So it's actually Aigis.
Aigis,
So
okay.
It's pronounced Aigis, yeah.
Okay.
They just took the Japanese title and the English title and combined them, because one was episode Aigis but spelled Aegis, and then the answer. So episode Aigis, I believe, was the Japanese version's name, and the answer was our English version. And this originally came with Persona 3 Fez back in the day. And so they are including this as part of the their little season pass, expansion pass thing for Persona 3 Reload. Like everything coming out next month, this is also coming out like next month, September 10th. It's pretty much coming to everything. It's going to like PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS. It's coming to PC. It's going to be available. What was the thing I think? It's available for free on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate users through January 31st, 2025. I have that detail right here as well. So basically, it is a continuation of the story. You should not play this until you've played Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah.
But you can start it up right away if you want.
Whoa.
You do not. It's like it. Yeah.
That's nice.
It is its own option on the menu. I know people are probably asking about that. There's still some questions I have because I only got to play about 40-ish minutes of it, and I would say 80% of it was cutscenes and story from because we started at the very beginning.
Right.
So it gives you the setup. I'm not going to go into anything because we're not going to have any spoilers here, but I will say that a new character who's kind of like Aigis named Metis shows up and reveals to you that you're caught in a time loop. You're stuck on the day of March 31st.
Groundhog Day Persona?
So you cannot advance. But Huber,
What?
it is very story heavy, but it's also very grind heavy in that it's the Tartarus stuff.
Ooh.
It is not the social stuff. You are not going out and about in the towns. You are confined to the dormitory. You can go around and you can talk to characters. But there's no like social link stuff. Now they did put out something today. It wasn't in the demo. I did not see anything about this, but there is some kind of social aspect to this that was not in the original version.
Oh,
They're
cool.
called linked episodes, and I'm reading from the press thing because I didn't get to play this. As you explore the Abyss of Time, which is the new dungeon area that is below the dormitory, you'll find key items that you can give to your teammates to spend valuable time with them in special scenes called linked episodes.
Okay.
Did not get to try that out.
That sounds-
There's a screenshot of one that shows Mitsuru younger, like as a little kid.
Oh, cool.
Like with her father and stuff. So it's like, oh, what's going on here? So
It reminds me of like when you in the base game when you get a call from someone on a day off and they're like, "Let's hang out," and you have like a little special hangout encounter. Is it kind of like that?
I think it's more like in the dungeon you'll find an item, and then when you go back to like the hub environment, the dorm or the gathering area, you can give an item to a character, and it will unlock that ability to go onto one of these linked episodes.
Okay.
Again, I did not get to play it, and I don't know how it actually works. I just saw that people were kind of curious if this was just going to be the Abyss of Time dungeon, and then the story content around it. And that was it. So they are giving you a slight, throwing you a small little slither of a bone there in terms of social stuff. So yeah, it does have the same quality of life updates that made it into Persona 3 Reload. So like all those mechanics that you expect to be there are still there. You still have the shift ability. I was playing it and I was like, what was that button that when I scan enemies and I know their weakness, I can just hit the button that tells me which character has a persona with a spell that can take advantage of that with like one button instead of have to fumbling through all these personas and menus. And that was shift. So like there's a little bit of adjustment since I hadn't played it since January.
Right.
So it's been a few months, but it started to click really quickly, about 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, I remember how to play this game. So shift is still there. You still have shift. You still got the Thurgies. And if you're wondering like how this is going to work with the personas, the one thing I will tell you is that Aigis has the same power that the main character has, aka the wild card power, where they can change between
Any
multiple
persona.
personas, any persona they have. And they have multiple Thurgies, which are those new kind of like limit break special attacks.
Right.
Those return. And there's a few new ones. So like I got to check out Metis's one where she's like dashing across all these rocks with like this like purple energy following her. This is like a massive attack and big explosion.
Super important question, Damiani.
What's up?
Music.
So there is a just like in what is it? Mass Destruction. There's a new remix of Mass Destruction in here.
Hell yeah.
So it's got some of the a few new tracks.
Nice.
I heard at least 2 new tracks. Well, newer versions of tracks that are in only this DLC. But Mass Destruction, because I was like waiting for that. I was like, here we go.
Hell yeah.
So but you're also getting some familiar music in there as well. So I do feel like you're getting the lion's share of that awesome new music in the base game, Huber. So
Yeah, I was listening to the soundtrack on the way to work today.
yeah. There's also difficulty settings. From what I saw, there's a menu. I think the original was locked to a single difficulty setting, which was the equivalent of hard on the original Persona 3. Now it does have multiple settings. and I saw a screenshot because I saw it in the screenshots. One of them is like, I think the hardest difficulty is called like Heartless or something.
Heartless, it's a nod.
Yeah, it's a nod. So they are giving you a few like new features there. Like you still have dashing. You can still sneak up on enemies in the dungeon. So Aigis as the lead character in this DLC has a ranged gun. So instead of walking up and
Persona
slashing
5
your
style.
sword to break the kind of like statues in the dungeon to get those items, you could shoot them from afar, but also enemies.
Can you
There's
use
a
that in
lot-
combat too?
That's their normal attack in combat
Got it,
anyway.
got it.
But outside of combat, you used to have to like sneak up and hit an enemy from behind. You can just be ranged distance. If they aren't alerted to you, you just, as long as the targeting reticule's on them, you hit the action button and you shoot them, and
Sick.
you get the jump on them.
Hell
And that's
yeah.
pretty cool. So I think that does speed things up a little bit because you can initiate battles much more, more rapid fire like that. So that was like kind of a nice little mix-up thing there, although I will say probably this is supposed to be a 25 to 30 hour-ish DLC.
Wow.
I'm gonna be
might
playing
get a
this
little bit boring after a
all
while.
the way to December, dude.
Yep. Yeah, so it might, yeah. So you still got like the shuffle time at the end, where you choose one of the bonus cards, like refill like your HP, get more experience.
Yeah.
We talked about destructible stuff.
Damiani, I just wish there was like a new social area to go to. That would really tip this over the edge,
Does
just like
seem like
on the world
it's-
map, just like an extra area with
No.
some shops and like
I can't say definitively no because I
Yeah.
don't know actually.
Okay.
Like they're not saying anything other than that new note about the linked episodes, but who knows if they're just hiding it? It seems a little weird that they would hide
know
something
what-
like that.
you know
when
what
that would
vibes it's giving
it was
me?
one of the biggest criticisms.
Yeah. It's giving me the first 16 DLC vibe. That was like more combat
The Omega?
focused. Yeah,
Right,
you're
right,
going
right.
on open the tower or whatever to like fight that thing.
Yeah, but
Kinda
this is
reminds
also
me of
the
that.
meatiest part of this like expansion pass. This is the big DLC content. You're not getting anything else bigger than this. This is
Right.
kind of like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is. Obviously, we can't get into spoilers talk about the story, but I will say in the past, the original version, people are very critical about the narrative of this, and so far it seems the very one-to-one adaptation of the
Okay.
narrative. So I don't know if they're going to change anything about it because obviously there's only 40 minutes I got to play. But if it holds, par for the course, just know it was mixed reception
Dang.
for how the narrative was about this. But hey, if you like, it's the same characters and like you're getting more of them. And I don't know if like whatever 80 so hours of Persona 3 Reload wasn't enough for you and you did want more and you were like bummed you didn't get like the female main character. It's like, here you go. You at least get something. And for people who didn't play Fez in the first place and didn't even get that DLC, I mean, this is, new to you.
Yeah,
So
I'm psyched.
yeah.
Because I
It
get
just
really
comes-
depressed when I finish a Persona game. I never want them to end. So it's
Yeah.
like now it's like, okay, even if I beat it, I can still like grind this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do go. I will say one thing, though, Hubert. The Velvet Room is back. So Aigis goes to the Velvet Room in this one. Did not get to go back there after the initial visit. It's kind of the same way it happens in Reload for the main character. But like the Persona Compendium is a big question mark because I believe they already had a save for us. So I don't know if my save data will be loaded at all, even though it's standalone. Because one of the hardest parts about the original DLC versions of the DLC was none of that knowledge carried over, and so you had to start from scratch in terms of like Persona, the Persona Compendium.
Yeah.
And it made it kind of a pain to deal with. So that would be nice if you've already put in the work. It carries over, and kind of rewards you for that. But you also are starting from scratch. Kind of like gear and level wise, you're fixed. You're not bringing in your progression, as far as I understand, from the main game into this. It's not going to read your save file and be like, you're over leveled. Here's your broken personas that you already have. You're just going to breeze through this. They are setting you at a appropriate starting point for what they hopefully what they expect you to experience difficulty wise. Sorry.
Got it.
Nice. And yeah, Huber. You've been playing the main game.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Damiani touched on a lot of Persona, but yeah, this is my first time with Persona 3. I'd finished 4 Golden and then 5, but never got to go to 3. It's funny you know that this DLC is mainly Tartarus because that's kind of the biggest bummer of Persona 3. It's like going through that. And it's not even the combat, Damiani. It's just like there's no like clearly it's like I know they lock off floors sometimes, but the way Tartarus is presented is like never ending in a way. There's no like clear arcs of like, okay, now's the time we're gonna grind out the dungeon. Okay, we're done with that. Now it's just social. It just feels like you're always kind of supposed to go and there's, you know, I just love the way they do it, obviously, in 4 and 5. Like, 5, obviously, is so well done because it's like, okay, this person's dungeon, finish it by this time, however you want to do it. So it just felt so much more focused, whereas Tartarus just seems like, God, just never ending, man.
It's definitely... Yeah, you could see the foundation and evolution of like modern Persona, starting with 3 to now 5.
Yeah.
About how they took that core concept of we want sort of a dungeon crawler element in these games, and how it evolved into being a little bit more tightly integrated into the narrative and character development, like culminating in 5, where dungeons are like a core part of the character development and character arcs. Yeah, like it's like part of an episodic nature of each like storyline for each character.
I love that.
And so you do have that element that you had from Tartarus in there, but it's definitely refined. It has atmosphere, it has a theming around it. It's a nice package. Don't really like to use the words, but I think it applies here just nicely, where it feels more meaningful and has more purpose than you even saw in like 4, which 4 was that first step towards a little better theming and a little bit more integration into the narrative as well.
Yeah, and it's just like the best series. Like, you know, Final Fantasy, I was there since NES, like birth. Obviously, I haven't played every single one or finished every single one, but it had been a constant in my life. Whereas I discovered Persona like so much later in life. So it's just like I'm familiar because I finished 4 and 5, but I mean that's only like 2 games of this series. So it's just so nice to like be back in there, going to class, dude, getting the right answers on the test, like just building all the bonds. Like this series is so special, and it really is one of the few, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80-hour games where I just never want it to end. It's just so fun. Before we started, I was like, God, I've been playing. It's so hard to stop.
Yeah.
Because it's always just like, okay, one more day, I'm gonna go take care of that chore. Like, all right, one more day, I'm gonna go hang out with this person. And it's just like, oh, one more day.
Yeah.
So, and obviously the music we were talking about and just everything.
Yeah.
Like, what a great way to play this game, the Reload version.
They have a music pack as well for this DLC.
Right.
The Persona
that
5
was part
and 4
of the thing that they
music
advertised.
is also in there. So you like went all in on this. You're gonna get like some more great music as well. But yeah, this is September 10th. I mean, it's like Atlas RPG is just not giving you any respite here, because like right after in October is Metaphor. It's, like,
it's out of control, like, dude.
Just keep going. Like
Year of the RPG, dude.
Yeah, it's fine. You have nothing else to do. You have no other games to play.
Right.
Switch 2 isn't coming out to next holiday. Don't worry. We gotta fill the void.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, Metaphor is definitely one of those games where it's like, I'm really looking forward to this, but when the heck we're gonna fit them all in?
Yeah, well,
yep.
I'll like listen to the words of Damiani, and then if it's like as good as we're anticipating it to be, it's like, all right, clear the deck.
Nice. Thanks, Damiani. I'm curious whether you knew about this one before, because I didn't hear about this until this week. Bakeru was announced for the West. Damiani, did you hear about this before? Did you know about this when it came out in Japan?
I feel like I might have, but like I'm gonna say like no.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I mean, when I saw but seeing it, I was like, dang, how did I like not remember this?
Right. So this is from Good Feel.
Good Feel.
Yeah, who are the makers of Kirby's Epic Yarn,
Yep.
Yoshi's Crafted World, Princess Peach Showtime. They did the Wario Land Shake It back in the day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things, because people were saying that this was like a spiritual successor from Goemon, and like in some areas I could see it, but like I wasn't sure like what the
That's
connection.
why I'm getting such strong Bossman vibes.
Yeah,
This is such a Bossman
They actually
game.
worked.
So
This is the
on-
most Bossman game ever made.
They actually worked on those Goemon games.
Sick.
So it really
Heck
is
yeah.
like a Mystical Ninja successor.
Nice.
Awesome.
And it has just so much crazy variety and stuff. Like Don was the one that really perked up on this the other day. So I want to get your
Look at
thoughts,
this
Don.
freak.
I am so unbelievably excited for this, Blood. Yeah, I mean, Mystical Ninja had a huge impact on me. It was one of the earliest games that, like, you know, I was obsessed with Super Nintendo, Legend of the Mystical Ninja. I made a Don's Discount Gaming episode of it way back in the day. If you really want to learn some of my background with the game, I think it was called
Sick.
Konami Taught Me to Gamble.
Right.
And that's about the
Remember.
Mystical Ninja. So anyway, you know, and I just love, when any series like this, you know, I love spiritual successors because they give us a chance to, like, you know, just love that world again. But when we're talking producer, director involved, I mean, it has a real legitimacy to this, authenticity, I should say, beyond just being a spiritual successor. I mean, instantly recognizable are, like, you know, the character design, some of these enemy looks, and the world obviously is very, very familiar to the Goemon. So pumped for this, Blood. I can't wait to check it all out. And then
Is there
just figuring
demo?
out what is
Yes,
this game.
there's a demo out.
It has everything, right? Like,
Look at this. This is insane.
Finding a pyramid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're Dawn. Yeah, like, is this
Economy, too. There's coins everywhere.
how many different type of game types do you count in here, Dawn? do you
well,
think?
I counted. Look, Damiani, I counted 3D action platformer. At times, it looks like a 2.5D platformer.
Yeah.
I've seen these giant arena robot battle sections. There's aerial 3D shooting. There's racing, where you're racing some dog critter I saw there. I mean, the thing about it, though, is it all looks fun and it gels together. Like, you look at this trailer and there's so much of it. You're like,
The vibes are hype.
yes,
Yeah.
there's no trick here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is real, man. I'm pumped as
Yeah.
hell. I'm so pumped. for
Flying
this
around
thing,
in a giant tea kettle. Don't forget that.
Yeah, exactly,
Which
on
then
that-
becomes your mech.
that overworld map.
September
September.
3rd.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's right around
Yep.
the corner. Not only that, you saw the transforming abilities. You can turn, like, there's all these different magical transforming
Yeah, you're a
abilities. you
Tanuki,
get.
so you can shapeshift, and so you've got all these different little versions of yourself in there. But see, that's the thing, you know, like when we go back to like some of the other things that they worked on, you know, like that was the thing that my biggest takeaway from Princess Peach was, okay, it's not a super hard, challenging game or whatever, but there are just so many creative ideas that just hit you here and hit you there, and like, okay, now there's the Phantom Thief Peach, and now here's the Detective Peach, and like all of these things that play differently. And similarly here, it's just
Yeah.
like up to 11 on this game. There's like all of these different ideas thrown at you. You go through all of Japan's 47 prefectures.
I love the sound of that. I love the sound of
Those are
that.
the levels.
Yeah, to stop the evil spirits from taking over. Like they're like the festival soldiers or something like that, they say.
Yeah, these like mischievous festival vibes.
Yeah.
I want to try this out, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a demo out. The game is only $40.
Nice.
With, if you pre-order, there's a discount.
Nice.
And since the Japanese version, they've added some like, additional attacks, and they've added like a new boss in there. And yeah, so
Yeah, as it's you know, the trailer, if you get a chance to watch it too, the music, I mean, this is how it was always for Goemon, but Legend of Mystical, just this like amped up Japanese sort of like folklore style music. I don't know what you'd want to call it. They have a few different styles in there. So the music is excellent, but yeah, it's just exciting for me because it's like, I know this came out in Japan, like we don't know that much about it, and it's like the type of thing where it's like, I don't want to know anymore. I know all this information, these questions I have about this trailer are out there because this game has been released, but I'm not going to find out. I want to dig into this thing myself. It looks
Yeah.
so fun.
It looks magical.
And we've got Don on
I'm
the case. Don is
extremely
going to
pumped.
dig into this. He's going to have more to tell us in a couple of weeks. 'Cause
Can't
it's
wait.
September 3rd.
Crazy.
So, yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing more of this, Don.
Yeah, awesome surprise on this, Blood. I'm
Sick.
pumped up.
Sick.
Another awesome surprise and a little bit of a weird one. At first, this is going to be also this week. And like, the more I dug into this, I'm like, what is happening here? So there are new Halloween, like
Yo,
the movie
what is
Halloween,
going on, dude?
and Ash versus the Evil Dead, the TV series. There are two side-scrolling action games. So think of something like Splatterhouse or Maybe like a Streets of Rage classic kind of thing.
Fucking Bloodworth, man. Yesterday, I was thinking about how much I just love Splatterhouse 3.
Right. But here's the thing. So at the beginning of this trailer, you see this thing called Retro Realms. Retro Realms is like a shell for this whole thing. The games themselves are in arcade cabinets.
Yo, this looks sick as
Yeah.
This
fuck!
looks like Splatterhouse right here. This looks like an evolution
Holy
of
shit!
Splatterhouse.
What?
That straight up looked like a Splatterhouse sequel.
Yeah. So this is being made as a collaboration between Boss Team Games and WayForward.
WayForward did Mummy Demastered too, right? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
I think Boss Team is probably the main one behind it, but I don't know what
my-
the situation is between the developers.
God.
Yeah. Just so much blood flying everywhere for Huber. Mike Myers with that butcher knife. Ash with the chainsaw.
Well, I know what I'm doing on Halloween.
Yeah, October 18th
Trailer
these come out.
headline.
If you pre-order, you get
way.
Lori and Kelly there too.
Wait. No, it said you cross over.
Yeah, they were at each other's.
That's the other
they were
thing.
at each other's
If
place.
you buy both of them, they cross over.
Good Lord.
So you can play the other character in the other
Is
game.
that was that 3D hub with the arcade machines part of the game or no?
It's part of it. So let me get through all this craziness.
I need like I need a jump
Yeah.
scare in there. I need to be like cruising around that little hub area and Michael Myers
That's
to just
such a
come
great
in.
idea.
Players can also commemorate their achievements within the Retro Realms Arcade, a lovingly realized 3D gateway and tribute to arcade gaming that connects with
Yo, Arcade Paradise
both
vibes.
Retro Realms
What?
titles, providing a single way to access every game in the series and to redeem in-game tickets,
So more coming.
view leaderboards, and find other exclusive content.
Friday the
So
13th
Friday the 13th
incoming.
is
It
next.
seems like there's more coming.
100%.
Yeah, look, there's other cabinets that had sheets over them. Did you see that in the arcade? Oh,
God, dude.
The Blob.
horror arcade. Way cool.
There's nothing. We've peaked. Society has peaked. We're done.
Yeah. Now
That's
here's another thing here. This is like I don't understand how to interpret this exactly. Combining retro visuals with modern mechanics, players venture between two overlapping worlds, which I think means the arcade cabinet and the outside of the arcade cabinet, right? With the ability to enter the nightmare-infested dark realm at any time, which unlocks shortcuts, hidden pathways, and rewards for those brave enough to enter. What? I don't know what that means. I don't know what the dark world is.
Sounds like
the
some
dark
kind of
realm
like
is.
roguelite spot.
I don't know.
Like what? Yeah, I don't even know. Just theories.
Yeah. This is coming out on basically everything. PS5, Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and Steam. So basically everything except PS4. October 18th. $25 each. So these are a little on the steeper side.
A little pricey.
$50 for both.
You gotta pay for that IP tax there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. And then, like we said, they're the extra characters if you pre-order Laurie Strode and Kelly Maxwell.
What do I get in the deluxe edition? Is there one? What's the most amount of money I can give them?
I think the $50 is the most, and that's for the physical double feature bundle.
Done.
At retail, yeah.
Done. Wow. What a gift, Bloodworth.
insane.
Thank you for bringing that. You told me about it, and you were like, is there footage? You're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, we'll just wait for the podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
It is, wow. So good.
But yeah, so you have Friday the 13th. What else do you think they're going to do that's going to cross over well?
You could do Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah,
You
okay.
could do, you could do It. That could be a weird one. You could, shapeshift maybe as Pennywise. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I am curious how weird they will get. Like, will we get, Gremlins?
Gremlins. Tremors.
The Shining. The Shining.
Do you think anything as classic as, Psycho or something? Would that make any sense or no?
I don't know, because with Michael Myers there, who was he killing in that trailer? Was he killing monsters? I was just so blown away by the visuals. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, it was like a bunch
Was he
of
killing people or monsters?
It was both, but it
There
was
was
like
all kinds of
fantastic
stuff.
creatures.
Yeah.
that
There's
were
one
in
part
it.
where you're just driving a car or mowing people over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just throw in whatever. So yeah, I mean it'd make sense at that point, if you're just fighting some demonic thing.
Someone mentioned Ghostface. Carcosa in chat mentioned Ghostface,
Yep.
but how cool would it be if Ghostface had a bunch of stealth elements? You know what I mean?
Totally.
That would be sick as hell. 2D stealth
Yeah.
elements.
Like, I hope there's a little twist to how they each play for sure. You definitely need that.
Those two look different enough.
Yeah,
just those
Ash
two.
with the range
Yeah,
and the chainsaw and like jumping up for it was sick.
Could we get Jaws, please?
That would look awesome.
A 2D.
There have been a few Jaws games, but I don't know if any of them have ever been good.
It'd
At least we got
it'd be
Maneater.
like a
I want to
blood-drenched
play as the
echo.
shark this time.
We have Maneater at least. That's something.
A 2D
Great
Maneater.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, Blood.
Nice.
Fantastic, dude. Unreal.
We've got more to come, but if you've been enjoying this show so far, please take a second to like and subscribe, ring that bell on YouTube, share with your friends, leave a podcast review, all that good stuff. It helps us, helps you stay connected. Also, if you want to get your name in this space, if you want to sponsor this podcast, reach out, get to us however you can. You can email us at info@easyallies.com. You can message us on Patreon, send a DM to me on Twitter, whatever. Get your name up here in this space if you want to sponsor the show. Huber, what are you thinking? What's in your head?
Well, first I was thinking they do a Hellraiser one.
Okay.
And then I was thinking, what's the meta right now? What's back on the menu? Aliens. Let's go.
Face hugger. You could be a face hugger. That'd be fun.
Nice.
AVP.
Seriously, AVP, dude. That's what I was thinking. AVP.
A 2D. Oh, God.
You know?
Oh, another 2D.
So
Like a
good.
new. Oh, my God. Yeah. Crazy. Sky's the limit on that. I hope it's good.
All right,
Seeing that Way Forward logo like gives me hope.
Yep. Huber, we're back to you.
Yo.
You got a chance to check out this Witchfire update a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You played a couple hours today.
Yep.
But you haven't played this before.
No.
We've looked at it from afar. It's been in early access for a while.
Yeah.
They just announced that Steam is going to get the early access later this year. It's been
Sweet.
epic so far.
Got it.
But then this week they dropped this new big update, transformative update, with
Yeah.
it's called the Wailing Tower.
Yeah.
Whole new map is in there, new enemies, loot, all this stuff, cosmic horror. But yeah, this is your first time actually getting to jump into this game.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of years since
Yeah.
it was first revealed. So what do you
Small
think?
team. Big game, small team.
Yeah. For people that don't know, some of the same people behind the original Painkiller.
Painkiller shout
and
out.
Bulletstorm.
Love Bulletstorm. Love both of those games.
So games that are about playing with your food, about good mechanics, getting in there, comboing things. So how does this feel?
It feels good. I am very positive. I think the foundation here is so good. Like, we're still in early access, I'm sure this stuff will get ironed out. The only criticism we'll get it out of the way is the enemy behavior is just okay. Like they kind of, it's just one of those situations where they kind of just like lifelessly march at you, or if there's ranged ones, they'll kind of look for cover. But I just didn't feel like the like
They're like actively trying to avoid
like
being eaten or whatever.
Exactly, like rip and tear until it is done. I know it's unfair to compare anything to Doom, but this gothic first-person vibe, you gotta.
Yeah,
gotta.
And I think that's another fair point to bring up. So Witchfire is basically it's an FPS, very fast-paced FPS,
Yes.
but with all this witchy magic
Yes.
stuff thrown in and comboing. We just saw ball lightning flying to a group of enemies, chain off of everybody, and then just blasting with the machine gun.
Yeah. The progression in this is super addicting. I'm ready to hopefully one day when I stream again, when I get air conditioning in my house, that's now another 2 weeks. I'm sorry, everybody. It's been one freaking thing after
The
another.
weather's supposed to be cooler in Gamescom, so that's good.
So hopefully by the time I get back, I'll be streaming again. But the progression in this is so awesome. You start out, you go to this one area, it kind of reminds me of Warhammer that we used to play.
Oh,
Not Darktide, but
Vermintide?
Vermintide, yes. Kind of has shades of Vermintide. You're not like Left 4 Dead progressing to an end, but you go into these maps. There's 5 or 6 of them, it looked like. And then you also have a hub. And in the hub, you can level up your character, craft potions, look at lore documents and all this other stuff. And so basically the gameplay loop is like you go to a map, you have one main objective. Like the first main objective is to like go up this big spiral.
Okay. This is already feeling like Vermintide.
Yeah, this big. You have to get up this big tower, but to unlock the tower, you have to like clear the map of the enemy zones. So you'll go around, you'll kill enemies. They'll drop these like red crystal things, and then you return to the base because you can only level up when you're back at base. So it's that risk versus reward. Do I press on or do I retreat and come back? Because there are points where it'll kind of save what you've done. So like you had to open this big door. So it's like, okay, I almost have the door open, but I have no health. I might die here. Like, should I just commit to try to get it, finish this objective, or should I get out of here? So there's like a lot of that risk versus reward, that push and pull vibe. But then there's just all this other stuff you can upgrade. Like the more you use a gun, you'll unlock some perks for it. You can research all these other like spells and new weapon types. And when you research things, it happens when you're on a mission. So you can only research a little bit, then you'll have to go on a mission, come back. That research will go up. So there's just like all these kind of like iron, what is that expression? You got your iron in the fire.
Irons in the fire.
You got your irons in the fire. You got all these irons in the fire when you're out on your mission, and then you come back, and it's like, oh, okay. When you die, soul style, you can go back to reclaim what you lost if you can make it there.
Oh, okay, great.
Clear all the enemies out. There's like some cool melee action, but I really felt like my character was getting stronger just in the first couple hours. I started out so slow, so weak, and then I was like, okay, now I'm getting better gun here. I'm getting perks. I'm getting, more healing potions. It's really cool too because then there's the element. So you have that like main progression, but then when you go into a map and you clear an area of enemies, you'll unlock a perk.
Got it.
Clear another, you'll unlock another perk. And you have to choose each time, what perks you want.
That's nice.
There's more currency where you can unlock perks that will then show up on that tree to give you even more options. So
this guy that they recorded to send us for the B-roll is like he's professional.
Absolutely, I was nowhere near.
Viewer seems familiar at this game.
Yeah, I was nowhere near this professional. I was running around like a chicken with his head cut off until I got the shotgun though, and then it was on.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm watching this game. With me with early access, I like everything to be ironed out. There's too many other fully released games to ever mess around with early access for me. So when this thing is like 1.0, I am in. I'm ready to go. Because it is really telling for me when I'm playing something for a preview or playing an early access game and I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, I'm close to another level up. Let me do that. Oh, this research is almost done. Let me go on one more run. So I was like pretty immediately addicted to just this gameplay loop. But I would like, the enemies just had a little bit of a lifeless vibe right out of the gate. I know I just said that kind of too about Dead Rising. Maybe I'm in like a visceral,
right,
guttural, like blood and guts mood. But yeah, I needed like a little more life from the enemies so far. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So,
I mean that does kind of happen sometimes too. In these kind of like again, even the games that you're comparing to when we're talking about like a Dark Tide or a Vermintide, it's like, yeah, the enemies aren't always like the brightest because sometimes it's about managing numbers, right?
Yeah.
And like I've already seen this guy like.
This guy's a professional.
Combining so many things on this build. Yeah. It's like lightning's going out and fire's going out, and then he like shoots them, and it all just like pops off and explodes like a freaking 4th of July over
It was
here.
probably just because I was low level and I had like shitty shit, So yeah, I just got to get like more into it
and
to
then,
really
like you're
start
saying,
exploding.
researching spells and like what's the thing that like you really connect with. It's like, okay, that I want this, and like I want to like see what these perks do and build it up that way.
Yeah, and I only played the first 2 maps. The first one was just like a beach with like a big tower in the middle. It was fine, not too much to explore. But then the next one was like kind of a more like village type area with some homes, and I had to look for. I had like an objective too, where it's like find this like shipwreck on this map to unlock this other thing. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I like that it gives you kind of these little objectives when you're on these maps to explore. It's not just kill everyone, go back, level up. It's like you have a little bit of direction, which I appreciate. So, yeah, definitely on the list still.
Good
really,
stuff.
really positive progression. So,
And the fact that it's like, not even been on Steam yet, and that's still coming later this year, like I think that's the time to watch. Like,
oh yeah.
What's gonna happen, when like the mass audience starts messing around with this thing. Yep.
Totally. Yeah, good stuff so far.
Cool. And you got one more for us, Huber.
One more.
One that you've been championing for a while.
This is going to be the most divisive game of the year.
Dustborn.
Yeah, Dustborn.
So this is kind of
this one. Yeah.
Extremely political.
right.
This is Politics the Game.
Yeah, so this is Quantic Dream, and then what's the developer? I know, like Ragnar Tornquist, right? Is
Red
the
Thread
main guy,
Games?
right? Red Thread. Yeah. So it's kind of got like a little bit of the Telltale Life is Strange kind of narrative. I mean, actually, like with the comic style, it looks like Tales of the Borderlands or something.
I
But
love the way this game looks.
Yeah.
I love existing in this game. I really, really do. So Dustborn, very political, a lot of politics. That's, you're either in or you're out. That's on you, whatever. But it is in the year 2030, and it's post-apocalyptic, and it is like an oppressive kind of world, but because of the visuals and the cast and just the tone of the game, it's not like super depressing. Like obviously it's dealing with a lot of heavy shit, but again, because of the visuals and the cast and the way people interact with each other, it is a little on the lighter side. It's not like Last of Us, freaking death, and everyone hates everyone, you're oppressed. It's like, no, it's post-apocalyptic, but like easy on the eyes and just like, cozy, honestly. A little bit of coziness in there. This is an alternate future where Jackie Kennedy was assassinated, not JFK.
okay.
And then that led JFK down a path to create this organization that has now become like totalitarian. Marilyn Monroe is 104 years old and was the first lady. Like, So, like, again, this game is going to piss people off, dude. Like, for sure.
Okay.
But I'm really impressed with the dialogue choices and the options and the
That's
buttons.
good. Yeah.
Really impressed with this stuff. When you're thinking of something to say during a conversation, some options will pop up, Blood. We've talked about this for years together, man. The options will pop up and you can press it. And because it's a comic book presentation, like there's actual comic books in this game that recap your events. It's really cool. This whole thing is a comic book style. When you press the button of the dialogue you want, a little comic panel will pop up with a description of kind of what that means to say.
Okay.
So it'll give you kind of a little insight.
That's
you know,
good.
how many
Yeah.
times in like Life is Strange or whatever we click something and it's like, we think it's, will you hand me that beer? But it's actually, will you hand me the beer? It's like wait, no, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. So like it does a really good job of that. There's even cool things where it's like, there'll be a little hourglass in the corner and that'll be ticking along. And it's like, sometimes if you wait and that empties, you won't have a choice.
Right.
But sometimes if it waits, more choices will pop up. So it's like you really have to listen to the conversations and kind of see where it's going. I really love that
great.
stuff. I'm really attached to the characters. I like them all.
Because so you've done a couple of previews. How deep
Yeah.
are you in now?
Really far.
Okay.
There's like 10 chapters. I'm on like 6, I think. 5
Okay.
or 6. This is a long game. Slow burn.
Okay.
Maybe too slow.
Okay.
So slow. Holy crap. It's like go to a place, talk to, like, you sit down to talk to someone, it's 10 or 15 minutes. I'm not even kidding sometimes. And your party is like 4 or 5 people. So it's like you sit around a campfire talking to everyone, that's an hour. That's
Right.
like an intermission.
Right.
It's like this hour, So it's a very, very, very slow burn game. In this game too, in this world, you're I don't know how to say it. Anomal?
An anomaly?
Yeah, you have
Kind of.
these powers.
Yeah.
Your main character can make people do things when she says stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Packs.
I remember that.
Yeah. She, if she's like, shut up, like, everyone will shut up. Gnome, they can, they have like empathy powers, so they can make you relax or, like make you relax or make you a little more on edge or, mess with that. You have another character that's super strong. You have another character that can make you believe you see things. So like everyone
okay.
has kind of
Yeah.
these like superpowers. You have this robot with you that's really cool, and then you also have like your normal human, like older guy Theo. He's really cool. He's kind of like not the boss, but kind of the boss, and he has no powers. But basically, you're trying to get this thing that I won't spoil to a place across the country. It's a big road trip game. You have to get a thing from the West Coast to the East Coast, and your cover story is that you're in a band. Because you're like traveling through these checkpoints and it's like you're not supposed to be here, blah blah blah. So it's like, oh, we're just a band, we're just hanging out. So then that's the main disappointment of this game is the music is awesome, and like you can even take your time to practice on your guitar and learn new songs that you can play.
Yeah.
But I was so excited to get to my first gig. It was like Bill's Pool Hall or something. I was so excited to like get to this space. I wanted to like get there and talk to people. Maybe there would have been a mini game. Like I had all these expectations in my head of like, oh, our first gig is coming up. And then cut to the pool hall. We're already on stage, play the song, cut to, we're out. Like I wanted a little more of
Right.
the band vibe, but it was just like, all right, play your song.
So like the show felt just like another round of practice. Got it.
Yeah. So I wanted a little more there. Also, the combat is bad. Yeah.
I remember you saying that. We were like holding off.
Yeah.
But now it definitively, this is out now.
Yeah.
Yep.
The combat is bad. And it's even worse because the characters won't shut up during combat,
Oh, okay.
but they
Are
won't.
they doing barks or are they having a conversation?
They're having full-on conversations, but like
It's like Ace Combat.
It's like, but it's like they're not.
Yeah.
It's like they're not in a fight though. It's like you'll be fighting 50 guys, and it'll be like, hey, so what do you think about like, using your bat more often? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I should. Oh, what do you?
so it
wanna-
doesn't feel like they're exerting themselves. While
Exactly.
they're
Oh,
having
what do you want to
yeah.
do after this? Oh, I don't know. Maybe we should practice our songs more. Just really strange because the voice acting to me is very strong.
Yeah. Well, Dominic Tipper in there, right?
Yeah. The voice acting's fantastic everywhere else, but it just feels off and weird during the fighting. They try to address it because even the enemies are like, why are you talking so much? Won't you please shut up? And they're like, oh, it's just to get in your head. But it's like, I laughed haha like once, but then they just keep doing it and it's just so distracting and it's just like not, it's just a distraction. It's not impactful. There's no character growth there. It's just out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, the combat just isn't that great. It's really floaty. You just mash a little bit. You have you can use your psychic powers like in combat. You find tech throughout the maps and you can upgrade your bat a little bit. You can throw your bat. It just doesn't feel that great to get in the fights. You can have an option to have less combat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like casual, less combat. You just want to focus on the story.
This
or-
might be the game to actually do
I
that
think,
on.
yeah, I did more combat because I was like, I don't want to skip anything. I like combat in games. I like hitting people with baseball bats or golf clubs. And yeah, that's it. Dustborn.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm hot on it, Blood, but I need to see how it all wraps up.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. It's like,
Yeah.
does it come to a really good conclusion? Because was it just last week that I was talking about Creatures of Ava, and then I finished
Yeah.
it, and it was like, man, where that story goes in Creatures of Ava, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, because I had my suspicions that there's more
Yeah.
that we don't know quite, and it's like, and then it goes places, man.
Yeah.
It goes places.
Nice.
But yeah, with this, I'm curious. It's like, does it pay off in the end?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, because each place you get to is really just cozy. You're in little like, you're in a trailer park. You're at like this abandoned gas station. You're in the city. Like you're in really cool spaces to kind of explore. And it just feels so natural, like talking to each other and building those bonds. Like there's a lot that's really well done in this game that I respect and appreciate.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Couple, rough around the edges for sure. And obviously it being such a political game is, an immediate turn off to a lot of people. So,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also this week, it's an ending, but not a sad one. Last week, What's Good Games announced that they are winding down their channel and podcast after 7 years. Damn. They are going to be at PAX. They're still going to be doing some more episodes. Final episode is going to be September 27th. We just had Rihanna on here a couple weeks ago. Obviously, she's got a lot going on with the consultancy and the other podcasts and all of that.
That's good.
We know Andrea and Brittany always have a bunch of things that they're juggling. So yeah, like I said, it's not a sad ending. It's just time to wrap it up and see what's next. So we're definitely
Shout
going
out.
to be looking forward to that. Shout out for sure for like everything that they've done.
Yeah.
And
7 years. That's no joke.
yeah, and just being like, again, like an example there that like here are some like really awesome women who are just neck deep in video games.
Neck deep. Like so just in it, dude.
Yeah. Also, in the wake of the Game Informer layoffs, their video producer, Alex Van Aken, has launched Viewport, which is a new channel where he's going to be making video game documentaries.
Cool.
So think kind of like No Clip, but probably his own spin on things, his own style. So give that a look.
Min-max too. A lot of min-max content right now. You don't want to miss it. You were saying all the behind the scenes of
They had
Game Informer, but they just had so many old Game Informer employees on one mega podcast. So check that out.
Yes, I watched the one last week where they had the staff that was laid off, and then this week they've got like the one you're talking about, the huge group. So I'll try to get to that this weekend.
Yeah.
And then they also have they have like a public version of something they did a couple months ago where they went and checked out like all the old Volton stuff that was in the office and like the old statues like we used to have at GT.
Yeah.
But then if you go on their Patreon, they have like a long, like extended, like 2-hour version.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff over there. But definitely check out Viewport, which is Alex's new thing, Alex Van Aken, and give that a look. And if you've got any jobs for the rest of those guys, Brian and Marcus and Wesley and all those dudes, keep an eye out.
No doubt.
Huber, according to Remedy, Control
Saw this.
2
Yep.
is now playable.
Fuck yeah, dude.
About to go into production.
This is the best universe in video games right now, without a doubt. The Remedy universe. Holy shit, dude. It is about to pop off.
Meanwhile, Max Payne 1 and 2,
Yeah, it is.
already full production.
Oh, yeah.
So
Everything ripped apart in a New York minute. Oh my God, I'm excited for everyone that's never even touched Max Payne to play these games, dude. Holy crap. I better see bullets go pierce flesh, though, in this game.
okay,
I need the grit.
somebody get that to Sam.
Yep.
Somebody show Sam.
I need that grit. I've talked in detail about Max Payne 3, the way the bodies crumple when you kill him. Just lifeless, like, it's awesome.
Don, I'm curious what you think of this in Isla's absence, but the makers of 2 Point Hospital have announced their next game is 2 Point Museum.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you're not familiar with this series,
Yeah, hospitals depress the shit out of me, dude. I want to go to a museum instead.
But that's the thing, though. Is this series is all about like just that quirky humor,
Yeah,
right?
nothing
So like
funny about
with the
hospitals.
hospital, it was like people just had the dumbest diseases, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like what kind of funny, silly things they're gonna do in the museum. And then what was the 2 Point Campus?
This
was
looks
the one in
delightful.
between the college campus.
Yeah, to me, this one definitely, I think the theme is the strongest, especially for what their vibe is, like kind of what Huber was saying, this just naturally, the playfulness. And they really convey it well in this trailer where you just see all the various sort of, not just you get an idea of some of the assets you're going to be able to acquire and try to develop, but like, you get to see the chaos that's going to unfurl in all these different ways related to, whether you're doing science, prehistoric, all these different, natural history museums, depending what you bring in, and you start to see the chaos. And that's all 2 Point is. It's like constant managing chaos, basically. So with a good amount of humor. This is like Night in the Museum now.
Yeah, they brought in a frozen caveman, and he
So
broke
funny.
out of the ice and started attacking people.
It's a funny trailer.
Yeah. So
2 Point movie when?
and they have confirmed that they will be at Gamescom. So maybe
Nice.
keep your eyes open.
I will.
The Plucky Squire has a release date now, just a few short weeks away.
What?
September 17th.
September.
Yep.
Dude.
So, maybe keep your eyes open.
Good grief.
Also, it's going to be on PlayStation Plus Extra day one.
Oh!
So, there's that.
Nice.
While we're talking
PlayStation.
about release dates, Dragon Age, the Veilguard, announced October 31st for their release date.
No. No. A day's off limits for anything non-horror.
Yeah.
I refuse. I also need to play Inquisition, man.
Oh, sure.
Never played it.
Yeah.
That's one of those games where I installed it on my PS4 and deleted it like 3 separate times
Right.
and never played it. It's like, shit. Gotta play it. And Andromeda, man. I missed both of those.
Andromeda's great. Yep.
Like 100% before the new Mass Effect Andromeda, but like, will I go back? Oh, it's running out of
And
time.
they did a lot of work on that afterwards too. So you
That's what
definitely-
I heard, yeah.
be in a different place than
Yeah.
when I played it. Okay, play this one, Don. Defect. I am back and forth trying to figure out what I feel about this game.
Yo, this looks like peach trees,
This
dude.
is straight up Dread, Huber. Look
What?
at this. Yeah, let's see this. It's straight up Dread.
Yeah.
Through and through. Watch this.
Yeah, so this
Dude.
definitely got some Dread, some Blade Runner vibes.
trees.
Defect is a cyberpunk themed quote immersive FPS.
Shut up.
The story bits didn't land for me, but then the gameplay, I'm like, maybe I'm in, but I gotta see more. It's
They use
being
the
made
word
by
immersive.
Empty Vessel, which is an independent team with staff that have worked on Doom, Call of Duty, and The Last of Us. And quote, players will choose from a collection of dangerous factions, the system's own policing force, the rogue police elements, or a host of gangs vying for power to play with friends in PvP or co-op,
So in. Holy shit.
compete to achieve objectives
Oh, the
like
kiss of
smuggling
death.
guns, assassinating targets, or arresting suspects. Tactical matches, 4-person squads.
Nice. It said wish list now, though, so it's not coming out for 3 years.
Everyone says wishlist now. If you have a game that exists, they're going to say wishlist now because it makes such a difference. So yeah,
That looks sick.
I want to see more.
Yeah.
Could be cool.
Are there any like choices, or is it just like battling? I mean, they said immersive, so it's like.
I mean,
okay,
they're
can
talking about 4-person squads too,
Yeah.
though.
Maybe
It's like
someone-
PvP or co-op.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot that I'm like,
Okay.
I can't totally wrap my head around how this is going to
Same,
work.
yeah. It's like, can you like hack things? Or,
Like, is there is there like a quote unquote story mode and a separate multiplayer mode,
Yeah.
like old school style, or
Yeah.
how is it all going to go together? I don't know.
kind of give me a Syndicate vibe. Love Syndicate.
Nice.
One of my favorite 7s. Syndicate reboot was sick.
And then lastly, voice actor Doug Cockle confirmed that Geralt will be in
I
the next
love
Witcher
this.
game,
I'm obsessed with this.
but he won't be the lead.
I'm obsessed.
He doesn't have a lot of details. He doesn't
Dude.
have a script yet.
It's gonna be the best moment when he comes out and saves your ass. Let's go.
And, quote, the game won't focus on Geralt, so it's not about him this time. We don't know who it's about. I'm excited to find out.
Same.
Currently 400 devs working on that game.
I love it.
Actively working on it.
You know what it reminds me of? Gabby. Reminds me of the best shit of all time. Fucking John Marston just being a side character in
Yep.
Red Dead 2.
Yep.
You know, same energy.
Did you see that thing? The Red Dead thing? The
Go to
PlayStation
PC.
5 description mentions the PC? Yeah. For some reason.
Someone was just like typing up some extra shit in there.
And it almost sounds like it's a bundle the way it's worded. Like, what? Yeah. Both games? So,
Yeah.
interesting.
Crazy.
All right.
Awesome.
It is time for love and respect.
Love and respect.
Right.
From Brandon Kagan. Hello, everyone. In light of Game Informer's closure, I've undertaken Project CGI. Complete Game Informer.
Yo.
This is where I'm attempting to obtain and own each and every single one of the 368 issues of the magazine's run.
368? That's
very
insane,
obtainable.
but
That's
it seems
obtainable.
doable, but also very insane. Yeah.
I still have a bit
Awesome.
to go, as I'm going to wait each time I get my paycheck to go on a spending spree. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But it does have me wanting to ask you, have you ever wanted to have a complete collection of something related to gaming? And if so, what was it? And if you couldn't reach full completion, how close did you get?
I wanted to collect every Final Fantasy game physical,
Okay.
and I ended up getting them all, but I have a couple different versions of each.
Right.
You know, like the main one being like the anthology one on PS1 I had that was different. I think I had like 2 on PSP, so it was kind of like slapdash.
Right,
like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't want every.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
mainline numbered ones?
Yeah, just
Okay.
1
Yeah,
through,
yeah.
you know, at 1 through 13 at the time. Like, just wanted to get them all. So, but I do have them all. But it is, again, it's kind of an erratic collection.
For sure.
But other than that, I don't think so, really.
Damiani?
Yeah. I had been trying to get like all the different versions of Zelda games that had been released, but nowadays there's like no real difference. I mean, the Switch will just region detect what you're playing and then load the like language pack and stuff like that. So even the packaging, sometimes there's like no difference other than like the rating logo is like the only thing, or in the back there's like a few variances. So
Variant.
yeah, it's not as like, I don't know, glamorous anymore as it used to be.
First time I ever
But-
met you, Damiani, I used to stare at your Japanese Wind Waker copy all the time. It was just sitting on your desk.
Yeah, like that.
I used
Like,
to
look how
walk
cool
by
that,
just like
yeah, like look how like cool that box art is and stuff. But like they don't, now everything's standardized. I
Right.
mean, it makes it easier for everything. But yeah, that age of where different regions had different packaging, different artwork, and sometimes different like versions. Yeah, it doesn't really happen too much, too often anymore.
Yeah, I definitely remember those old N64 boxes sometimes, like looking at the Japanese versions. I'm like, man, that is so much better. Control room. Don, you got anything?
I mean, I can think of right now, I've mentioned that Retro Gamer publication. I've been kind of collecting on a collection tear for that for the last, I think about 7 or 8 years. I think I have the complete collection. Maybe a little longer than that, actually. Maybe almost 10 years now worth. So that's nice. That's nice because they have the spines, set up. If you stack them all vertically,
Yeah.
they have like a nice little pictures that they roll out on the spines, and it pays off. You feel satisfied when you reach full completion. But I found it's sometimes very hard to reach full completion with a magazine collection,
Yeah.
But I'm doing my best.
Yeah. Nintendo Power was definitely the one for me that I was trying to go for a while, and it was just so crazy how I was cataloging it. So because I had started on Nintendo Power in, I want to say like 91 with like the Mega Man 3 issue, somewhere in there. And at some point I had managed to, because you could back order like bundles of the old
Sick.
issues. So I think at some point I had managed to get like the back order of like the first year.
Damn.
And then maybe another one. But I was a teenager. I
We
didn't have
didn't know.
money.
We didn't know.
And then, then after like I had, graduated high school and moved to California, then that kind of like broke up my collection anyways, because then
Yeah.
like a lot of it was still at my mom's. I had a couple of issues with me. And
Did you throw any
all that.
away?
I haven't thrown any away.
Oh, you're a lucky
but
man. I've
I
threw
don't
so
think
many
that
away.
the ones that I've lived enough with my mom have been like stored particularly well, so I don't know like what kind of condition that they're in
Yeah.
necessarily. But the maybe the most insane part, and this is not going to surprise you guys at all, I don't think, is that I was indexing these things. This is like 12-year-old, 13-year-old Bloodworth for the first time with a spreadsheet in his hands.
Oh my god.
On like
this is brilliant, actually.
482 or whatever, 46 computer, whatever it was. And I would go through every issue. And anytime that there was a game featured,
This is brilliant.
I would add that to the list, and I would have like the issue number and the page number. So if anyone would ever ask me about a game, boom, boom, pull the issue out,
You are-
find
That's
the
the
thing
sickest
about it. Yeah.
That is some like American Psycho shit.
That is so awesome. No, you have no idea. There's been so many times when I'm like, where's that article of the collecting Sega Saturns? And I'm like just flipping through issues trying to locate it. It's genius, blood.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You still have those spreadsheets, some 486 and one?
I may have a file somewhere.
That'd be
If I
fun.
have a
That'd
way
be
to
fun.
open it, I don't know, because it was like, it wasn't Excel. It was like Lotus Works or something like that. But yeah.
B-Boy in chat said American Archivist instead of American Psycho.
There was, what may have started me on that path was that there was, they did have like official ones that like Nintendo Power put up, like official indexes where you could thumb through and do that kind of thing. And so I was like, well, this doesn't have everything, So I go like, all right, so let's fill this out.
Crazy.
From Michael Seward. Hi, allies. With the successful Paris Olympics just finished, Don was just talking about this. I wonder what you think about the missed opportunity for a game tie-in. Mario and Sonic at the Olympics have progressively gotten better, and it was a surprise to not see a 2024 version. With Tom Cruise bringing the Olympics to your home turf, who would you want to see develop a new game?
Dude, I played Nagano Winter Olympics as a kid so much with my friend. We used to have sleepovers, and we used to watch Dragon Ball Z.
Which
and
one was that on?
like PS1, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, used to watch Dragon Ball Z and like Nagano Winter Olympics.
So jolly.
Yeah, loved it. Oh. Yeah, when was the last like official Olympic game?
At the last one, they've always had it. Huber, this is the first Olympics they haven't had an official game time. I mean, not the first, but the first in a long time.
Yeah.
So the streak is broken, and it stinks, doesn't it? I mean, there's something
does.
so jolly about having that companion piece. Even the Mario, that's what I was saying to Blood last week. We took it for granted with Sonic and Mario. Kind of just assumed it was something that was always going to be there.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, it's not that special. But when it's not there, you miss it.
Totally. Now, next Olympics, we're all going to be ready for it, fiending.
Hungry for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about like track and field and the power pad.
So
and all.
fun.
Oh,
I love it because they're just like, it's always just like quick time events, button mashing,
Right.
like every game, every time.
Well, I remember with the power pad games, like the cheating with the power pad was to like take your hands and just do that instead of actually running.
Oh yeah, the skiing one in Nagano. There was like a combo on the very bottom that you needed to do. It was like trying to
right.
like a 20-digit code, and my friend would always just like mash all the buttons Damiani style, cheesing it, dude. And it was just like
Yeah. Well, yeah. So the one for me was like there was like I think it was just called like Winter Games. I don't even think it was licensed. That was on the Commodore 64.
Oh, man.
And like they had like speed skating and skiing, and I think they even had like cross country where like you would ski and then you would shoot something.
Crazy.
But what do you think? So now what's the dream game? What's the crossover?
An Olympic
They
game?
brought up Tom Cruise for some reason.
I mean, I'm trying to think of this Olympics and like
Mm-hmm.
what was the biggest, because Gabby and I watched a shitload of these, and like what were the biggest stories? I mean, obviously, like breakdancing was made fun of, but like the shooting was definitely one of the
Yeah, there's
highlights.
a lot of people doing fan art for the shooting guys.
shooting and
yeah.
archery. So yeah, I don't know.
I would imagine because skateboarding's been big for a few Olympics now that could come back pretty hard on the LA Olympics.
Totally.
Skateboarding in Venice Beach or something.
Oh my God, yeah, the downtown spot in Tony Hawk 3 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
They bring back Mario and Sonic. I hope they do more because the Tokyo one had like the retro 8-bit stuff as well as like the 3D, which was kind of cool. Like they were trying to do something a little bit different. Was there a 2018 Olympics? Because I'm reading the list of Mario and Sonic games. There was no Mario and Sonic at 2018.
There was a
Rio
2020 though, right?
There's Rio 2016 and Tokyo 2020. But before that, they had Rio Summer. Was it Sochi, London, then the 2010 Winter Games and the 2008 Summer Games. So since its start, it had been alternating between summer and winter every one. So it did miss one. What was the Winter 2018 Olympics?
Damn, I don't
Where
know,
were they?
but I didn't know Nagano Winter Olympics, first of all, was
it was in
Konami,
China.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
And IGN gave it a 3 out of 10.
Oh, sorry, no, South Korea. It was in South Korea.
I
sorry.
loved it as a kid.
South Korea in 2018. Wrong year. Sorry.
So
South
Dino
Korea.
Pulse from chat is telling us that Ubisoft had the license that year, and so there was DLC, Olympics DLC for Steep.
What?
I don't know what the deal is with this
I
story
think I
that they
remember
only
this.
license one game per year or per Olympics or something. I mean, what's the deal with
I
this?
thought that there was another like quote unquote serious Olympic Games recently.
It seems like
too.
they've got to hand out more licenses than one per Olympics. It wouldn't make sense.
I thought of one. It could be a challenge because I think they would want something that's multi-platform, but would be so good. Astrobot. Astrobot Olympics.
Perfect. I like it. That's a good fit. That's a good fit, bud.
That's a good one. But how about we go big
Okay.
for LA in 2028? Fortnite. Does
Yes.
the Olympics in Fortnite.
You've done it. You've
Such
done
a
it.
great idea, man.
Yep.
That's actually a great, like, unironic idea.
I want,
for real.
and I wonder, like, if it's already been pitched.
yeah.
Like, that's something that, like, Epic has got to be
That
so all
is
over.
really
like, it's just a matter
smart.
of them cracking the deal.
Yeah.
It's
That's
perfect.
really smart. You can have little games on the map. You can have like a skis. You could literally have a ski pickup.
Yeah.
Like
That'd be like all the challenges. It'd be
Skateboard,
like
yeah.
go like those slopes, do like, or
really cool. Great
go to
idea.
the pool and do like swim the lanes, while also dealing with people shooting at you.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Hey, it's LA.
But you can unlock Olympic medals and stuff like that. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
love
Well, I
it.
mean, I think the fact that there's guns in it might be something that could raise alarms, but with
There's guns
Fortnite
and also
Creative, there's so much
extra
more
modes.
ways that you could do that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it as a special mode like the
Yeah.
Lego and
Yep.
racing
Yep.
and everything. Just
Yep.
make it a special limited time thing.
And there's another really big one, Lego.
Yeah.
Lego Olympics would be
Oh,
huge.
yeah.
Lego Olympics. Nice, blood. That's a great idea. Heck yeah.
Good stuff.
Love the Olympics.
From Joseph Caruso. Back in the early days of Easy Allies, there was a discussion about what the Nintendo NX hardware could be.
NX.
Of course,
Holy
the
moly.
NX eventually became the popular Nintendo Switch. But after the
Pretty
unpopular
popular.
design of the Wii U, some allies were nervous about what Nintendo could do next. However, I distinctly recall Kyle Bossman saying, "Who are we kidding? The NX could be a ball of nails that you have to swallow to play." And we'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
100%. It's Nintendo. They can do no wrong.
And it's true. I feel like no matter how weird their next console is or what strange catch or business practice Nintendo attaches to it, I'm going to buy it if that's the only way to play the next mainline Mario and Zelda. Even if it cost over $1,000 and included pop-up ads. You couldn't turn off and required the user to sign an agreement to let them use your face to train AI. I need my next Nintendo console.
Yeah.
So my question to the panel is, can you think of any personal deal breaker for the next Nintendo console that we are calling the Switch 2?
If they bring back motion control centric stuff.
You would not buy it? Give me a
Oh,
break.
really?
I
You'd buy
would
it.
definitely be waiting on that a little bit. I would not be in a rush to buy that.
We'll see.
Yeah, like I'm
Nope.
buying it no matter what.
I'm not. Yeah, if that's like the primary way to play everything, I'm like, nah. I went through that once. Never again, please.
Yeah, they've just given us so much joy over the decades. You know, this is more than a video game system. It's like ingrained in the fabric of my entire life. Like NES when I was 5, you know? So it would take, and I always say this, it's like, you love something and they give you something bad, it like, if they've given enough goodwill, it needs to have, it basically would need to be like 2 bad consoles in a row
Right.
for me to have pause, you know. The Wii U was a misstep. I didn't love it, but then they came right back with Switch, so it's
Right,
fine.
right.
But if it was like the Wii U and then like another shitty one, it's like, okay, sorry I called Wii U shitty. Please don't.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing.
You know what I'm
it's like,
saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the slowest user interface of any console ever made, except for maybe like one of the early CD things other than the PlayStation. Like it's, yeah.
Just all those damn wires and the charging. Dude, the Wii U's a mess. I hate it. But yeah, if the next one is like handheld only, I'm gonna be bummed out.
Right.
But I'm gonna get it.
Right.
It's Nintendo.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing by having it be
I trust them.
either or, the Switch hit that thing. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
these people want something to play on their TV. These people want something to take on the train. And it appeals to both, and so you get those people that you talk to, and it's like, oh yeah, I never hooked my Switch up to the TV, and I'm like, what? What? And I pretty much only play handheld like when I need to do something really quick, or if I am on a plane.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like if I get to my destination and I can plug to a TV, then I'm plugging to the TV.
Heck yeah.
Especially now that they've got those little like mini dock things, where it's not really a dock. You just so you don't have to bring the full docks with you.
Nice.
You just plug it into the wall.
That's sick.
But yeah, I don't know what the full-on deal breaker like.
Deal breaker, they would
Pop-up ads definitely would be rough.
like invasive. I mean, we can go like all the way with this, of like pop-up ads and like $200 a month to just use it. Like this stuff's not gonna happen.
Right.
But yeah,
And Nintendo actually does better than the rest on physical versus digital too. So I don't think they're getting rid of physical anytime soon.
here's a theoretical. We're living in a world where Xbox is on PlayStation, PlayStation is on Xbox. What the hell is going on here? What if Nintendo comes out and they're like, every single one of our games will be on PlayStation also and Xbox. Every single one. But our hardware is weaker. What do you do?
Right.
What do you do? Theoretical question.
Right.
That would be a deal breaker. Then I'd be like, okay, I don't need it. We've had this conversation
it
about
won't
Xbox
happen.
games
I
on
guess they
PC. It's a similar thing where it's like if you have a PC and you play all those Xbox games,
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's really interesting about
see Damian rolling his eyes. We got to come back to that.
the Nintendo cross-platform possibilities is that fact that Nintendo still at a lot of its heart is about hardware innovation, right? And like you see it with the Joy-Cons and all the weird stuff. Like, why is there a heat sensor on this thing? We've used it twice. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like we used it for 1-2 Switch and we used it for WarioWare.
Yeah.
I can't think of another example out of the entire gigantic Switch library that's used an IR sensor.
So silly.
But that's the thing. It's like they make stuff like that. It's just like, okay, like the fact that they even ported Skyward Sword is kind of a miracle, right? It's like, and so I couldn't necessarily see them going multi-platform. If anything, like they would like team up with Sony to like, okay, we're gonna work with you on the next PlayStation, and we're gonna make the hardware together and be partners or something like that. You know, it's like
Unhinged, dude. It's funny. Yeah.
it's like we'll design the hardware, you guys put whatever power into it, and like we'll both make games for it or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that's as far as I could see them going. I couldn't see like Nintendo putting games on PC or something.
Yeah.
Except maybe Mario Kart.
I truly can't.
Maybe they would put Mario Kart on PC because that's like infinite money.
Yeah.
It's like the cheat code.
Oh my God.
Mario Kart on
Just
Steam.
gonna put that in
Dude, Damiani, before Switch 2, man, they got to release Mario Kart 8 on PC, dude. Give it another couple of years.
No, it has to fall. Like, wait, maybe before the release, but we gotta wait for it to fall off the Circana charts first.
Right.
Then we'll know.
Yeah, I can't imagine them making any insane blunders, The Wii U was still a good idea before it came out.
Yeah.
The touchpad, it's just like the Switch was the real version of that because you could take it to
Right.
go. So,
Yeah.
one little semi misstep here, it's like, I don't know. I trust them.
Yeah, I got to say, too, I think this, and in regards to the Wii U, too, personally, I think Nintendo just has never failed, okay? Even whatever. They just simply, even in the ones that have been a little bit
I
critical
agree
failures.
with that statement.
And even with the Wii U, I'm going to bring this up because I think no one thinks of this. For the Wii U, just Super Mario Maker, the game, the marriage of Super Mario Maker with that gamepad that we had was the greatest intermingling of software and peripheral ever to this day. I would argue that for any system ever. It's just Super Mario Maker with that pad was perfection.
That is
okay.
that
And so
is
just
legendary.
literally that game justifies the existence of the Wii U. So Nintendo, I mean, for us not to buy it, it would have to do something very horrible. It would have to
It'd have to be sadistic.
it would have to leach blood from our body from the controller, and it would have to be a lot of blood and fast. Because even if it was a slow thing, we'd probably be accepting of it.
Yeah, like you have to donate your
I mean, that's the thing,
corpse.
the Virtual Boy did give
To
you headaches
Nintendo.
within 15 minutes.
What?
The Virtual Boy did give you headaches within 15 minutes. Like, yeah.
But that 15 minutes, what a ride.
Yeah.
Mario Tennis at Blockbuster forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difficulty with the Switch 2 is not that there is going to be some outlying problem. I think kind of what you were alluding to before is the challenge will be similar to what PlayStation is dealing with right now is will people just see their current Switch as good enough?
Exactly, yeah. 100% blood.
Will they be just so hesitant to hop on
PS4
board?
is still going.
Yeah.
Obviously some games are PS5 only, but like, dude, PS4 still cooking.
It's like, yeah, I can still play Mario Kart. I
Yeah.
don't need the new one. It's fine. I've got like 64 tracks or whatever it is now.
This is why, though, I'm going to stick by my prediction that this Nintendo Switch successor is going to be a powerhouse. It's going to be a beast because it's the only way they can guarantee that won't be an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the only way.
I like it. I hope it's a beast.
Beast box.
I hope, dude, call it the Nintendo Beast Box.
Dude, just the
please.
fact that they still haven't dropped the price blows my mind.
The Nintendo Beast
That they've
is okay.
never dropped the price.
It's upsetting.
Yeah.
It's upsetting.
Wild. Because it just, I mean, that almost proves that, like, well, maybe they could tempt a higher price for the next one and give it more power.
Yeah.
If people are willing to just pay this price forever.
I want to say I've done a full 180. I don't think we're getting a Switch 2 ever. Honestly, Damiani.
We
This
know
is
we're
their
getting it.
last
Okay, we're
This
never
is their
getting it.
last system. They're just going to keep riding this thing
No,
forever.
they have said. They have said. I did appreciate that the non-story went around again this week. It was like, oh, Switch 2's not coming out until April or later. I'm like, we knew that. That's what we knew already. This isn't a story.
Yep.
Why is everyone talking about this?
Over a year and still, at least. Crazy.
Anyways, it's time for bets. Gamescom's next week. Opening night live is on Tuesday. We will be reacting. Huber will be out there in person in that crowd. We're going to be looking for Huber. We're going to react if we see Huber in that crowd. But Brandon Jones will be on this desk. Keely's going to have a pre-show hosted by Kyle Bossman. I want to know how many times Kyle will actually say the word pre-show. Because I went back and I looked at last year's, and he said pre-show so many times. I didn't count him, but he just kept saying pre-show like every chance he could. So
It's just to spite you, Blood.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, Damiani, how many pre-shows? Pompous Cocker Spaniel.
7.
7. Huber, Stealthy Centipede.
7.
Don, Bashful Manatee.
Oh man, I'm feeling pumped about this now. I thought I was way too low. I got 12.
Nice.
12.
Gabby, Optimistic Rat.
12.
Oh,
This is
what?
gonna be good. This is gonna be
Watch,
good.
here comes Blood with 6
my
or
gosh.
13.
What's Blood got?
I've got
Over under.
6.
How on earth? How on earth? For real? How?
Come
The
on!
fix is in. The fix is, and it's more. It's getting more obvious in
I
the
know.
NFL over here
Yeah.
now. It's getting more
Yeah.
obvious in the NFL.
I don't know
Yeah.
what. Yeah, okay. Last week's bet
Unacceptable.
is on hold.
What?
Because last week we bet on the launch trailer for I Am Your Beast. And I Am Your Beast
I am your beast box.
got pushed to September 10th.
Ah.
So we have to wait for that launch trailer to find out who won. So there's no scoreboard update this week, but we have to do something to determine who's going to close this week's show. So we're just going to do this old-fashioned, simple way.
Old fashioned.
I picked a number between 1 and 50.
Okay.
Whoever's going to get closest is going to close out this show. So Damiani, 1 to 50.
7.
Hubert.
11.
Don.
I'm gonna go 25.
Gabby.
42.
42. I don't know if I could have synced those all up or whatever.
Nice
But
spread there.
6.
Nice spread.
Already wrote it
is
down.
50.
50.
Gabby, closing the show out.
Oh, Gabby's a
Stay
big
above
winner.
50.
All right. So, like I said, no scoreboard updates, but to keep track, we're currently at 9 points for the Stealthy Centipede and 7 for the Effervescent Hippopotamus.
Very close, Bloodworth. Very close.
Let me tell you about patreon.com/easyallies. Every week, we do this podcast. We do some previews. We do a group stream, whatever we can get in there. But this podcast in particular, we just jam it all in there as much as we can. And that is made possible by people just like you who watch this podcast, listen to this podcast, and enjoy it and decided it's worth the time. It's also worth the money. So if you drop in just $5 a month, that helps us out tremendously. It allows us to keep making it for you to listen to, and allows us to keep making it for people that might not be able to drop in that $5. Helps all around. For $5 a month, you get this podcast 2 days early. You get it ad-free. You get 2 bonus Love and Respect questions. You get to submit questions to Love and Respect on our Patreon, and you get in our official Discord. All kinds of other fun stuff.
$5. All that. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's like Game Pass, dude. Incredible value.
I mean, Game Pass isn't $5 anymore, right? Yeah. Yeah, and then we've got all the other rewards and stuff there, higher tiers. Check that out if you want, because yeah, those guys too on those higher tiers doing so much work to make things happen. And then our platinum producers, especially, they get a shout out on this podcast each and every week. Our shout outs this month go to Javawebs, El Thanis, and Forever Ender. Shout out. All right, we got some videos to promote before we close this thing out. First of all,
Promote them.
Easy Allies versus Wave Race. Brainchild of Don Casanova. Put it all together. We are racing remote jet skis in a back alley
Racing
in
for
Los
pinks.
Angeles. Sephiroth literally gets decapitated.
Spoilers.
I mean, we
spoil
spoiled that
them.
already. We spoiled that. We got a video out there spoiling that. The highlight.
You gotta see it for yourself. Anyway.
You gotta see it
It's
for
gotta see something like that for yourself.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Great time. Really glad that all got put together. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for the narration, Dawn, because that just did so much.
Oh, thanks to everyone, all the allies. I mean, everyone had a hand in it. You know, we all really participated in it, made it happen. It was sick as hell. Yeah, the only thing we definitely changed for the future. Originally, I was only going to say a little thing here and there, to bounce off the other announcer. But the jet skis were hard to identify visually, so we had to have like a lot of voiceover in the end. So if we did it again, we'd paint those jet skis more distinct colors, so you'd be able to see it a little easier.
Yeah, or somebody had suggested flags. Did you? I feel
We
like you
thought
might
of
have
flags. Gabby thought of flags originally, and I was nervous that would also be like very difficult to read. And I just with the time frame, I couldn't find the little tiny little flags.
Right, what the solution
It's not a bad
is,
idea. So maybe we'll paint them and put some flags. I mean, that'll look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
But check that out for sure.
And thanks to the patrons for making that happen too, because you all made that happen by contributing to our cause. Thank you.
Nice. Dude, I'll get like a Metal Gear flag. What's the group in 5, Damiani? Like LSF or something? What is it?
Yeah, there's military.
MSF? Yeah.
Peace Walker.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's Peace Walker.
Get an MSF flag.
We got a few previews that we're going to shoot after this podcast that can't put up right away. Otherwise, they would have just been in this. So keep your eye out for those.
Keep your eye open.
Yeah, they're going to be going up over the next few days. This last week's group stream, we played Cat Quest 3 together, which was great. Jolly little time. Co-op on that. Next week, we'll be playing a little bit by ear. Group stream's going to be early because opening night live is happening in the morning. So group stream, rather than keeping people till like late at night, we're just going to group stream at like 3 o'clock. We might get some hot Gamescom demos, so we'll throw those in there if we can. Might play some Black Myth Wukong. Maybe there's a game called Phantom Spark, which is kind of Wipeout F-Zero-esque racing game that we might give a little bit of a whirl.
Cool.
So going to be playing a little bit by ear, but 3 o'clock earlier group stream time next week. And because it is Gamescom, we've got 60 appointments booked for the show floor. Huber is going to be there. Isla's going to be there. Sophia's going to be helping out. And not only do we have all those games that we're going to be seeing, but you're going to be shooting Huber Hype.
Yeah. Excited about that.
We've got a meetup.
If you see me there and I'm filming, you better ambush me.
Yep. We got a meetup happening. So that is going to be Wednesday night. Looking like starting around 8 to 9, somewhere in there.
In fact, if you see me, give me a spear. Spear me. Roman Reigns style. It's a wrestling move.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully
give me a spear.
It's not going to get you in trouble with the security. But yeah, meetup Wednesday night, 8 to 9-ish. Probably in the like central area across the river where the train station and the cathedral and all that stuff is. Don't know exact details. You and Isla might scout it out when you first get there because you guys are getting out like Monday and then you got Tuesday before opening night live that you've got time to check things out.
Word.
But like I said, Brandon Jones is going to be here for reaction since we won't have Huber. And then on the desk next week for this podcast, Danny Pena from Gamertag Radio is coming in. So we're going to be talking about some Gamescom stuff next week. All right, Gabby, you get to close out this show. You get to shout out to anything or anyone that's on your mind this week. You get that final word, and you get to sign off with your trademark sign off. Oh, I don't hear your mic.
My final words are, I obsessively played the Salt Lake City Winter Olympics video game for PS2.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Or PS3? One of those. My second final word.
That's your shout out.
Okay, that's my shout out. Tom Cruise was in that question because he parachuted into the closing ceremonies.
Yeah.
That's why he was in that question. You Anyway, and what else do I have to do?
Just your trademark sign
Trademark
off.
sign off. Okay, my trademark sign off. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. Get the dream egg from the Moogle Chocobo Carnival to unlock the Master Assassin's robes for Noctis.
You can be a licker, Damiani. You can walk around as a freaking licker.